find that you're in a hurry and you need an escape, when all you have is a pile of worry, I'll help you carry the weight. Just stay lost here with me. We don't have to say anything, just let ourselves get lost in between the magic and the mystery. Stay lost with me. Sitting here in the stillness and quiet, losing track of the time. Oh, this memory will burn the brightest. Leave it be, let it shine. Just stay lost here with me. We don't have to say anything, just let ourselves get lost in between the magic and the mystery. Stay lost with me. Just stay lost here with me. We don't have to say anything, just let ourselves get lost in between the magic and the mystery. Stay lost with me. Dia de nuvens no céu, trânsito atolando o chão, preso numa água cheia, na concha fugindo do som. Já à beira de sumir, afundo na maré que vem. O motorista me sorri e diz: viver parece simples, dia para ser feliz. Tirando um tempo só para amor, é casa que perepis. Ouvindo fim preto branco, é as nuvens a passar no céu flutuar. As coisas não vão se encaixar se você se cobrar demais. Deixe não se enganar, que assim vai dar. Então quando a coisa aperta e tudo estiver para triz, lembre o que ele diz. Viver parece simples, dia para ser feliz. Tirando um tempo só para amor, é cansa que perepis. Ouvindo um fim preto branco, é as nuvens a passar, eu não sei flutuar. When that sleep won't come and you've cried your sum, let it come to you. There's nothing you can do until I see you smile just below those eyes that tell me you're okay. It's written on your face. As you come to light, I come alive. your silhouette in the summer sky. But this is only a measure. It can only get better. It can only get better. And this is only a measure. It can only get better. It can only get better. Turn your sorrow in, burn every piece of it. Let me comfort you, I'll be your go-to. 'Cause these are youthful days, we will grow in great, worse or better. Our time is best together. You must know that I love you so. Never bargain you for your weight in gold. And this is only a measure. It can only get better. It can only get better.